Yeah, did you see we got some new listeners in Germany?
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, hello, Schnitzerficken. Okay, I don't know what that means.
Facts on tracks. We're gonna break some vinyl down from the front to the back with facts on tracks.
Welcome to Breaking Vinyl. I'm your host, Des, aka Johnny Fever. And as always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts. First up, the podcaster, coming through in high fidelity, Evil Ed. What's up, Ed?
Desi, how you doing, brother?
I am doing well. And last but not least, the podcaster playing the deep cuts, B-Side Dave. What's up, Dave?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, tonight we will be discussing Tina Turner's Private Dancer. Private Dancer is the fifth solo studio album by Tina Turner. It was released on May 29th, 1984 through Capitol Records. The album peaked at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and remained in the top 10 for 39 straight weeks from August of 1984 to May of 1985. The band lineup will be done a little different this week. So for the studio sessions, there was a laundry list of musicians that played on this album on different tracks, along with Tina's studio band. Too many to break down for the podcast. But I will tell you, Jeff Beck and members of Dire Straits played on the Private Dancer cut, along with members of Tina Turner's studio band. So in trying to research all the players that performed on the album, I got frustrated. So I decided to just credit the standout performances on each track as we go through them, as I think are noteworthy. And even that was difficult. Like, there's a track I like and I'm fucking Googling like crazy. Like, who the fuck played bass on this track? Forget it. It's not happening. So the live band is as follows. It was Tina Turner on lead vocals. It was James Rayston on guitar and vocals. It was Jamie West Oram, amazing guitar player, on guitar and vocals. Bob Feet on bass. Jack Bruno on drums. Timmy Capello on percussion, keyboard, saxophone, and vocals. And Kenny Moore on piano and vocals. And out of this lineup of musicians I just rambled off, Jamie West Oram really stands out to me as just a fucking amazing guitar player. I mean, he did play on the album. Sound amazing, licks amazing, just a really controlled, tasty guitar player. And Bob Feet, I mean, if he is the guy who played on the album, fucking kudos. Some really great bass on this album. Fun facts. So, let's see. Fact number 1. Private Dancer was written by Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits, but never fully recorded or released a song because he didn't think the vocals worked for a male singer. I can see why. The track was cut and pitched to Tina Turner. Jeff Beck did play guitar solo on Private Dancer and one other track on the album, which we'll get to. And in return, Tina carved her name into one of Jeff's guitars and filled it with green nail polish. Dave, do you have any fun facts on this album?
Sure. Yeah. In 2020, the album was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Recording Registry.
Oh, cool.
The album had 4 different production teams for the U.S. edition. A lot of, usually most albums, you only have 1 or 2 producers who can, for somebody who doesn't know what a record producer really does. I mean, you can have somebody who ranges anywhere from, sort of cheering an artist on from the sidelines and getting out of the way while they do their thing, to completely shaping a concept, sound, and direction of a recording.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty unusual to have that many different producers on an album.
Yeah, like I said, gathering facts on this was like, it just wasn't happening. Ed, do you have any fun facts for this album?
I do. I actually have a couple for this. John Carter, who's an A&R man for Capitol Records, had to convince Capitol Records to sign her and really take a chance on her. Like you guys said, 4 different productions, but a lot of the songs were written by Graham Lyle and Terry Britton.
Yeah.
They have over 18 British top 40 hits, 9 Billboard Hot 100 hits, 4 U.S. country number ones, 1 U.S. Number one adult contemporary,
Oh, wow.
and 3 Australian chart toppers. So
Oh, shit.
they kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, but it's funny because with all the hands and fingers that were in this pot, I mean, we'll get into it. There's some super highs on this album, like, touching the stratosphere. And then there's some that maybe didn't get there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So, okay, let's get into the opening thoughts. Let me paint a picture for you. South Weymouth, 1984. I'm running through the gritty streets of Queen Anne's Gate. I became a man that. Wait, I already did that. So this album, this song, and this album and this song, Private Dancer in particular, really just reminds me of 1984. Reminds me of being a teenager. Reminds me of MTV. Reminds me of coming home from school and just hanging out on the couch and watching videos for hours before dinner. I was telling Dave before we started, this is an album that I did listen to front and back before this episode. And I had a mom and at the time a boyfriend in the mid 80s who listened to a lot of music. They had a really great like stereo system in the living room, like the big speakers and a turntable. And they bought tons of albums. Like, I remember listening to Tattoo You, Tom Petty, like they just bought everything. So I had lots and lots of music in the house, and I would come home from school and listen to these records front to back. And I was very familiar with this one. I remembered it having more hits on it than it did. And I remembered it being a little stronger than it was. But with that being said, it was a very strong album. Dave, what were your opening thoughts on this one?
Yep. I've heard the hits on this album, the big songs that were on MTV. Never heard the whole thing, though. I've never owned the album before. Wasn't sure what to expect. That's part of the fun, though.
Right.
My only real memory was the video from What's Love Got to Do with It, being all over MTV. This wild, mysterious, sexy lady. I didn't even really know about her older work in the 60s and 70s until, later on. She was almost like a new artist when you were, in 1984, if you were a kid that didn't really know what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
That is so true. So true.
Ed, what are your opening thoughts?
Yeah, I never heard this album before. I listened to it for this podcast, but like Dave, yeah, I just knew of her basically the same exact experience Dave had. What was on MTV, what was on the radio, and then you see this woman with legs to die for. I mean, she was all legs, and then that voice kicked in, and you were just like, hold on. I remember hearing her voice the first time and just amazed at the soul, even though it's got this grovelly thing to it. It's really amazing in my opinion.
Yeah, her voice is amazing. I remembered her being a little bit more on the level of like a Whitney Houston, which she wasn't. I mean, and it's fine because she's a different kind of singer. Her voice isn't as buttery and smoothy and angelic, It's definitely more of a rock R&B performance on this album, which I really liked. I just remembered her voice being a little more buttery, if that makes sense. Like just a little smoother, but yeah, it was great though. So let's get into it. I Might Have Been a Queen is the first track on the album. So this track is super clean, and compared to what we listened to last week, it was an absolute pleasure to listen to. I mean, there was plenty of separation between all the instruments. Everything was panned nicely, had things off at 11 o'clock, things off at 3 o'clock. I mean, it was just very easy to listen to. I thought the song itself was fairly forgettable, but I really liked the transition into the chorus. Not that the chorus was unusually strong, but I did notice on this album, like a lot of these transitions into the chorus were very easy to listen to and just worked for me. So yeah, I mean, it was okay. Dave, what'd you think of I Might Have Been a Queen?
Yeah, it's no Proud Mary, that's for sure.
It's not.
Very slick production. Mid-tempo opener. I agree with you about the songs. Kind of okay, but strange lyrics. With reincarnation. There was a whole backstory about she had conversations with the writers of the song, and so sort of a odd subject matter, but
Yeah.
songs okay.
Yeah. Ed, what'd you think?
I thought it was a good opening song for the album. I like it. It's got a cool groove. I think the guitar is really good in it. It's got great chord phrasings.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember exactly where it was. I didn't write it down. But there's this one chord that he plays at a certain transition that I think is just gold.
Yeah.
And I really like that. I really like Tina's voice. I think it's full of energy. I thought it was a great introduction for what was to come, at least the good points of what was to come. Because, yeah, there were a couple things on this album that I was just, But also, what I liked was Rupert Hinge played the bass, keys, percussion programming, and backing vocals on this. And then, but Jamie West, Oram, played guitar on it. And I didn't realize, I'm like, why do I know that name and everything? He played guitar for The Fix.
Oh, shit.
So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
which may be why I really like the chord phrasings.
Yeah, Jamie West is amazing. This goes back to what we were talking about a couple of weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, when I was saying, how I just really love these 70s guitar players. Like Jeff Beck is what I brought up, and we'll get to Jeff Beck on this album. Okay. It's sacrilegious some of the stuff I'm gonna have to say. But Jamie was just, oh my God, he was so fucking good on this album. Like you said, he's playing these chords and these phrasings and trimming out these songs, like just really, really good guitar work on this album.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so second track is What's Love Got to Do With It? I think we've all heard this one before. Ed, take us through your thoughts on What's Love Got to Do With It?
Yeah, I mean, this was I think everyone around my age introduction to Tina Turner, especially as a solo artist. I think it's an epic song. It's got a nice reggae vibe to it. Everything recorded has a soft, gentle tone and a vulnerability about it, I think. Musically, it's nicely layered, good guitar, the rhythm. It's a good rhythm track on the guitar and the bass. I really like how the bass, when it gets to the chorus, is almost like all muted notes, which is really nice. And I think the keys are perfect in it, as far as, the keys either tend to be overpowering or really in the background. And I thought it was a good mix overall. And Tina, obviously, I think her voice just kills this song.
Oh, absolutely. This is, in my opinion, this is how you do a pop album and just something like this, right? I mean, again, not to harp on Purple Rain, but when you got one guy trying to play everything and produce it all, you get a flat album that doesn't have a ton of depth and a ton to listen to musically. This album is so deep and so layered, and the playing is so good. You're getting you're just listening, and it's just, my ears are just loving what it's hearing. This right here is how a pop song is written. I mean, it's fucking magical. Like you said, Tina delivers a great vocal with tons of feel. She's telling a very relatable story. It's got a monster hook for a chorus. I mean, this chorus is like just fucking money. And in my opinion, this is one of the strongest tracks on the album. Not the strongest track, but we'll get to it. Dave, what'd you think of What's Love Got to Do With It?
I agree. Ditto. Perfect pop song. With the reggae style instrumental track.
Yeah.
Heard in dentist offices everywhere. Not that that's a bad thing, but but yeah, it's monster track for sure.
Oh god. All right. Show some respect. So this is an interesting track. I've got thoughts on it. Dave, what are your thoughts?
So 80s.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be right back and go do some aerobics, and
Oh
then
shit, yeah.
I'll join you
Yeah.
guys again.
Oh my god,
Um,
dude, that's the first thing I wrote too. So 80s. Go ahead.
So yeah, the interesting synth solo, some backwards, weird stuff going on there. But they make it all about Tina's vocal, and
Yeah.
that's the way it should be on an album like this. And she cuts loose and goes wild at the end. It's great.
Yeah. Ed, show some respect. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Right off the bat, it's just way too electronic. I get it. It was the time. It was really the beginning of electronic music. So the sound's very primitive and not very good. But yeah, it was tough. I think it would have been a completely different, and I think it actually would have been probably a decent rock song if they used real instruments and real players throughout and got rid of all the electronics. And I think Tina, like Dave said, she sells it with her voice in this one.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head, and that's going to be a theme that's going to come up a couple of times on this album, where I think they could have maybe leaned a little more on some real instruments, and the songs might have been a little better for it. So yeah, show some respect. So this song sounds like it was written by Kenny Loggins when he was doing all those 80s soundtracks like Danger Zone. And I mean, I was like, this just stinks of Kenny Loggins, big time. And
Don't you mess with Kenny Loggins.
Oh, dude. Fucking love Kenny Loggins. You means a little be out my Mini Cooper and fucking Danger Zone will come on. I'll start ripping through the gears. Low 6 speed. Want me to take me to the Danger Zone, baby? Because I'll do it. I'll get that Mini Cooper up as high as it'll go. So the synth on this. At first I thought too much, but this is before I listened to the song coming up afterwards at the next song. So I thought the synth was done right. It trims out the tune nicely, and there's like these sharp little accents that they're using around it. And so it was okay. I mean, it didn't really fit on the album, but it was fine. But I could see where you would think it might have been over synthed a little bit. But I had written over synthed, and then I listened to Can't Stand the Rain, I believe.
Yeah.
And is this the one that I thought? Yeah. Okay. So then I listened to Can't Stand the Rain. I'm like, okay, wait a second. The synth isn't overdone on Show Some Respect. It's overdone on Can't Stand Some Rain. So yeah, that track was fine. Ed, what did you think about Can't Stand the Rain?
Before we get to that, I just want to add a little interesting fact on Show Some Respect.
Oh, please do.
The B side of that single was Tina covering "Let's Pretend We're Married" by Prince.
Oh,
Just thought that was kind of interesting.
Did you listen to it?
And the reason why that's interesting is because the first note I wrote about "I Can't Stand the Rain," it has a real Prince vibe to
it. Not in a good way.
No, not in a good way. Like everything that we discussed that we didn't like about Purple Rain, I feel that whole soundtrack was in this song.
Right. There's one song. There's one song coming up that is a piece of fucking shit, but we'll get to it. So go ahead. Yeah, but Ed, did you actually listen to the song that she covered?
Yeah. No, I did not.
You did not. Okay.
I didn't. No, I didn't have time. My journeys this week took me through a lot of no man's land. So no.
And is it true that you were airlifted off the side of a mountain?
Yes. I was falling out of one of the noses on the presidents of Mount Rushmore.
Which president?
Oh God,
Teddy Roosevelt.
All right.
I feel the song never really finds its groove.
No.
It feels super forced for the music at all times. This song really just, I didn't like it at all.
No.
I couldn't find anything I really liked about it.
Yeah, I'll just read what I wrote. I didn't love this song. It was too synth heavy, especially following Show Some Respect, which was also synth heavy, but done with more restraint than this one. Like this one, they were just like, woo woo. They had the paddle out. They were fucking just going to town on this one. And this is where I want to return to what you said earlier, Ed. I wish we had got some nice, clean rock guitar on this track. It would have added a layer to it, and it might have been a decent song, but it wasn't, and they didn't. So the vocal and lyrics are fine. They were serviceable. I mean, it's Tina Turner, so you can't really take a shit on anything she does on this album, but this song, it wasn't necessary. I didn't enjoy it at all. So the next track is Better Be Good to Me. And this is another one I'm sure we were all very familiar with. Dave, what did you think?
Yep. I just wanted to weigh in about it. I Can't Stand the Rain.
Oh,
The,
what, did I miss you?
yeah,
Oh, sorry, buddy.
that's all right. But yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with the keyboard thing, just heavy keyboards. The synth horn stabs were a little rough.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a super complex song, but aside from the synths, it was a blues song. If you
Right.
stripped away all that synthesizer stuff and just had, some guitar and whatever, it's a blues song. But her
Yeah.
vocal was great.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. If you had added some rock guitar to this or some, blues guitar to this, it's a completely different song. I mean, not completely, but I mean, it's a better song. And
Yeah,
her
I
vocals
went
were
back and actually listened to the original version of this by the person that wrote it. I forget the name, but it's a lot more kind of rootsy.
Mhm.
Wouldn't have fit in with the album though if they gave it that treatment.
Was it originally sung by a female or a male?
It was a female.
Okay, and how did she do? Was she a good voice, a good singer?
It was okay, but it was not Tina Turner.
Okay, few things are.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I put a script with our names because I never follow the order. Like you guys are like, okay, I'm up now. I'm like, okay, Ed, go. And you're like, it says
Oh, I
Dave,
know,
go.
I know.
Okay.
So we're gonna move on to Better Be Good
Yes,
to Me,
and I
right?
will try to stick to the order.
That's
So
all right.
Better Be Good to
So-
Me. Dave, take it away.
Hey, so yeah, there's a ton of keyboards on this. That guitar player Jamie makes this song. It's incredible hooks.
Incredible.
The guitar playing kills on this.
Oh, yeah.
It's not super fancy, but it just makes it. The chorus is like candy. It's so good. The verses, kind of whatever, but the choruses are so good. It makes up for everything else. The bridge has a lot going on, and breaks down, kicks back in. Really super cool. I love this song.
Yeah. Dave, I'm so glad you said that because, I opened my notes up with, oh man, do I love the music and especially the production on the rhythm guitars on this song.
Yeah.
Jamie West Orm's guitars are just, I wrote a pleasure to listen to on this track. His fucking guitar sound is so amazing. His licks are so amazing. I don't care how great of a guitar player you are. If you have a shitty guitar sound, it doesn't fucking matter. Can't hear your licks. I can hear every fucking note this guy is playing, and I love every one of them. And it's amazing how much better he played on this album than Jeff Beck. I know people, it's not going to be a popular take, and I love Jeff Beck, but what happened on this album?
Give that guy some solos.
Oh God. Tina brings so much inflection in her vocal with this one and so much character. Now, when I say that, you guys know what I mean. It's like Jagger. It's one of these singers that just knows how to pronounce words and just put inflection and character into each word she's saying. That really spins the tale. Instead of just singing the song, she's telling the story. And I really appreciated it. And it really shined through on this track. This song is one of my favorite Tina Turner songs of all times. Just great. Ed, what'd you think of this one?
Yeah, and pretty much doubling down on what you just said. I mean, if there was ever a song written for Tina Turner, it's this one. I just think it's fantastic. And again, doubling down on you, she sells it. Her phrasing throughout this whole song is just fantastic. Musically, it's really well done, except why did they throw that stupid cowbell in the middle and near the end? I'm like, I'm like, it's so distracting to me. It just didn't make sense. Like, hey, let's do this. It was no need for it. I think it kind of takes away from the song. Not that it takes away from it, but I mean, it's a great song. But this song was written by Mike Chapman and Holly Knight and Nicky Chinn. So Mike Chapman and Holly Knight also wrote Love is a Battlefield.
Oh, great song.
At the same time, Mike Chapman and Nicky Chinn also wrote Ballroom Blitz.
That's sweet.
An okay song.
Yeah, it's like, wow, really? I found that amazing. It was just like, wow, those are two great songs. So, of course, this is a great song then.
If you're listening to the Crocus version of Ballroom Blitz, then, I mean, you're doing it right.
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
Fuck that.
I think Sweet had just as many hits from people covering their songs as they did themselves.
That's fine. I wish somebody was covering my songs. Okay, so I have got to everybody, yes? Okay, let's move on. Next song on the list is track number 6, and it's Let's Stay Together. And I will take this one. This song is built around the melody of the vocals and Tina's voice 100%. This is where the music takes a little backseat to her. It has a great bass line. Again, I'm not exactly sure who's playing it, but it's a great bass line. And again, the guitars are just fucking so good. They're so controlled. That's the only way I can describe it. His guitars are controlled from the tone of the guitar to the perfect like accents and timing that he's playing, like sometimes with the groove, sometimes against the groove. It just makes my ears like perk up when I listen to it. And I like the keyboard solo here. I thought it was very good. I mean, it's very 80s, and the sound is okay, but it's a strong keyboard solo. Dave, would you agree?
Yeah, this song is great. Tina is one of the few people who can sing this with as much soul as Al Green originally did.
Right.
Absolutely.
Supposedly sung in one take.
No, really?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Wow.
This was released as a single, and the success of this prompted the record company to sort of light a fire to do the rest of this album, because and the funk guitar, I believe, was played by Ray Russell, who I am not familiar with, but it's very nice. This is going on my Naughty Time playlist, I'll tell you that.
Oh shit, I love it. I have a Naughty Time playlist, and the first track is Black Betty. If I can make it through the drum thing, I know I'm rocking. And what do you got?
Oh man. I love the song. The original by Al Green is just one of my favorites. And I think, just like Dave, Tina's one of the few that can pull it off as good, or close to as good as Al did, because what a great song.
Yeah.
I'm unlike Desi. I am not a fan of the keyboard tone or the solo.
Well, no, I said I didn't like the sound of it.
Okay,
I didn't think it was a good sound.
It was. I get it. It was kind of the time, but yeah, I didn't like the keyboard solo. But like you said, the guitar is dynamite throughout.
Yeah.
It fills out, but isn't overpowering. But if you listen to it, you just, oh my God, you fall in love with it.
Yeah, yeah. I fell in love with this guitar player on this list, and it's rare that, and it's funny because he didn't even play a ton of leads. Just like when you listen to a fucking record and a studio musician is fucking putting out rhythm guitars that have got you like, swooning, that's saying something. You know what I mean? I mean, it was just good.
Yeah, there are some licks at the end where I'm just like, holy crap, I wish that wasn't in like the fade out. I wish it was earlier in the song so it was a little more prominent, but during the fade out, some of the stuff he's playing, you're just like, whoa.
Definitely, 100%. Okay, here we go. 1984. Oh, God. Should we just leave it at that? Dave, go ahead.
The album came out in 1984. I love David Bowie. He's awesome. I don't like this.
No.
It reminded me of like a Vegas show or Broadway or something like that. A different song might have been better. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, it was fucking crap. Ed, what did you think of 1984?
Yeah, so funny. I was never heard the song before, and we were driving down the highway with a friend of mine, and I'm listening to the album, and this came on, and I go, "This sounds like a Bowie tune." And then when I looked it up, I go, "Oh, nailed it."
It is. Wow.
I think they did their best to arrange it to fit Tina, but yeah, this song is just, why would you put this on this album? Didn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, I put this on and it felt immediately like it was written for a TV show theme song, like 1984 Dance Party on MTV, you know? It was like, what the fuck is this? The writing on the song was not up to snuff, which I didn't know it was written. You say it was written by Bowie?
Yeah, it was on Diamond Dogs, I think.
Real?
Yes, yep.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Fuck. I'm stepping into my own office. I'm fired.
Oh.
Yeah.
we'll have a
this
chat
song,
later.
this song was not up to snuff, man. It fucking sucked. It had no business being on this album. It just didn't. Yeah, we'll just leave 1984 at that. I'm actually embarrassed. I know that was fucking Bowie. So my wife will slap me in the face as she's like, the Bowie. Okay, next up is called Steel Claw, and we are going to get some Jeff Beck on this one. Ed, take it away.
Oh boy, Steel Claw. This is a good R&B rock combo.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind that. Tons of energy vocally and musically. It's a total attitude song, but oh my god, is that guitar solo terrible?
It's terrible. Why?
I was like, I don't know. It was, I can't even describe it. It was just so frustrating.
I knew that he played on this, and I hadn't listened to this album in so long, and I am a Jeff Beck fan. I mean, that nobody fucking fiddles with the knobs and, whack strings with his fingers like Beck, very innovative guitar player. But oh man, what happened on this record? Fuck.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to the song.
No.
There was so much potential.
It's just not good. I mean, his guitar sound. I mean, you've got fucking Jamie with these amazing guitar tracks. Like, Jeff, just plug into his fucking amp. He's got it dialed in. Jeff's like, hey, I brought my my PV fucking. It's like, I don't know what happened.
I know.
Anything else on Steel Claw?
No, that's about it for me with this one.
All right, Dave. What do you got on Steel Claw? Because I have a hot take on this.
Okay. It's a rocker. I really like this song. Kind of reminded me of the Stones.
It reminded me of something else.
Oh, okay. The Jeff Beck guitar solo was wild. Really kind of wanky. And it was okay, but he could have done something maybe a little more thoughtful with it.
Yeah, it was janky. You hit the nail on the head. It was janky.
It's like a Vinnie Vincent guitar solo.
It was like a Vinnie Vincent guitar solo. Okay, guys. So once I say this, you guys are going to be like, oh, fuck yeah. This song was ripping off Gloria. I mean, it just was. It was fucking Gloria. The song started, I'm like, Glory, Gloria. I'm like, this is fucking, they've ripped this song off. We get our Jeff Beck guitar solo. It was weak. It had too much echo on it, which wasn't burying the bad licks he was playing. And the song does rock. I mean, it's a good song, and Tina's vocals are really good. They're scrappy. She's bringing it, but and I mean, I'm just holding Jeff Beck to a higher standard here. It's not like the solo sucked. I'm not going to be like, oh, this guy can't play. I mean, it's fucking Jeff Beck. But I remembered this solo being like groundbreaking and being like, when I was younger, being like, ooh, that was so, innovative. No, it wasn't great. Okay. So Private Dancer, the title cut off of this album. I will take this away. This song is so fucking slick. It is Teflon. The dynamics in this song are just off the charts. It's panned, it's layered beautifully. Tina delivers an absolutely amazing vocal performance. The transition into the chorus is as good as it gets. I mean, am I right? I mean, you're not going to bring a song into a chorus any better than this. This is fucking magical. But they missed an opportunity, okay? At the 309 mark exactly, if you go back and listen to the song. So there's this build happening where she's going, MasterCard, and she's talking about the credit cards and the Johns, and it's building and it's building. And okay, this is where Jeff Beck is going to come in and we're going to get this incredible solo. No, they break it all the way down. Okay. They break it all the way down, and we get about a full minute plus of beautiful saxophone. And it is. I mean, the saxophone playing is great. It's like a Lethal Weapon movie, Riggs is about to have sex, and I liked it a lot. But this was teed up. I mean, as they're building in this middle section that they've written, they're building and they're building and they're building. I'm like, okay, here we go, Jeff Beck. And they just let all the air out of the balloon. We get the full minute of 80 saxophone, and then we get this very conservative Jeff Beck solo. I mean, like, what? Why even have Jeff Beck on if that's what he's going to play? It's like there's nothing to it. It's completely out of gas. I was fine with the way they did it, but like I said, it was teed up for Beck to show off some of his skills, and he just didn't. So yeah, that's my thought on this song. And I'm not shitting on this song because I fucking love this song, and it was fine the way they produced it, but we have to talk about shit on this show. I can't just say, yeah, I love Private Dancer. It was great. Ed, go ahead. What'd you think of Private Dancer?
Thank God for radio edits.
Yes.
Yeah, this was way too long.
Yes.
Too many musical solos. It's a fantastic song, though. I think you nailed it with it. It would build up and then just anticlimax everywhere.
Yeah.
However, I really like the bridge and how it ties back into the song once coming out of the bridge. I thought it was really smooth. It was pleasant to listen to. But the song really just fits the soft side of Tina's voice. I mean, it is just oof. It is sexy. I have a hot take, but I'll wait till Dave goes just in case. I don't want to steal his thunder.
So Ed, so we kind of are seeing it the same way. Like, let's just say coming out of that, MasterCard will do whatever she's singing there, right? Let's say we take out that full minute and a half of saxophone, just kind of soft blowing, and we go into a nice little hot, like 6-bar solo from Beck, and then right back into the song. We've just trimmed off like 40 seconds, and the song just moves along quicker.
Yes,
I think it suffered from a lack of production.
I agree.
Yeah, in that
they tried to do too much with the song.
They tried to do too much with the album in spots, honestly. Like you said, filling it up with cowbell where it wasn't necessary. I think they knew that they were onto something, and they had a very deep album with a lot to listen to, and they were really stretching the production on this album where they were able to put all of these things into it. It's like they almost overspiced the soup, but the chef was so good. It was like, that's tasty, like maybe a little too much cumin here, maybe a little too much cinnamon over there, but I like it. So
absolutely.
They were towing the line, and for as much as they put into it, I think it was successful. Dave, Private Dancer, take us out.
Yep. All right. So, like you mentioned before, it was written by Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits, and they had actually recorded a demo of it, but because of the record company, they couldn't use the original music bed. So basically, the guys in the band came in to the studio and just redid it with Tina. She acts the song perfectly. She sounds sick of your shit.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Then when they repeat the chorus and she jumps up an octave, it's so good. She goes up there and she's belting. It's fantastic. I thought the bridge was a little goofy. I didn't like it so much, but thankfully it was very short, and then it goes back into kind of smooth.
Now, when you say the bridge, you guys are talking about the same part I'm
That's
talking
the
about.
master charge and I'll
Yes,
shake it for
yes.
you. And yeah.
Yeah, so can you imagine if they had broken out of that into the solo over like an upbeat piece of music?
Yeah.
It-
I mean, it would have tightened it up a little bit.
Hell yeah.
You know?
So you love the track though. Great track, right?
Oh yeah, it's good. What's the hot take, Ed?
Yeah.
So the hot take is it's rumored that Mark Knopfler once said the song was ruined due to the record company having Jeff Beck play the second ugliest guitar solo.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. I forgot.
So bad, dude. What happened? Why did Jeff Beck play so shitty on this album? Because Tina ruined his guitar
He was pissed off.
with her fucking green nail polish. He's like, "Hey, can you sign my guitar?" She pulled out like a nail and dug her name into it.
It threw out the intonation.
And then took green nail polish and filled it in. He was like, "You fucking bitch. I'm fucking this shit up." All right. Okay. So it is time to do some band tryouts. We're gonna kick some people out and we're gonna replace them with some musicians. Oh no. Okay. First of all, what was your favorite track, Ed?
So apparently I had a different version than you guys because the album I listened to also had a cover of the Beatles' Help on it.
Oh, good.
And it's actually, I'm not a huge fan of it, but she did it as a ballad and I was interested. It was very, very interesting, but no worries. So my favorite track, oh God, I think it's Better Be Good to Me.
All right.
I think it's just, it has everything that you want in a pop song, and her voice is just she owns that song.
Yeah. I agree. Dave, what was your favorite track on this?
Better Be Good to Me is on the list. The Holly Knight, Mike Chapman, Nicky Chin, writing is great. The guitar hooks incredible. I also like Steel Claw a lot, but that's a little more rocking than the other stuff on the record.
I am going to have to chime in again and say Better Be Good to Me is the number one answer. So yeah, that's the best song on the record, 100%. And probably Tina Turner's best song ever, in my opinion, my humble opinion. What track would you cut off this album? I think this is also going to be unanimous across the board. I have 1984 as the track that must be cut. Ed?
Yeah, I didn't include that only because it's a cover and I think it was kind of obvious. So I went with something. I went with a different song, actually. Like I said, only because I think that song is so bad and it's a cover. I didn't include it. I would have removed I Can't Stand the Rain.
That was my original one until I heard 1984. Dave.
So true. Yeah, 1984 just does not fit. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm fine with either one. I'm fine with either one or both of those songs being taken off the album. Dave, what would you cut?
Yeah, 1984's got to go.
Got to go. Okay. No disrespect to David Bowie, but it just didn't work. Okay. If you had to replace one member of the band, who would it be and who would get the gig? I will start us off. I would be firing Jeff Beck, and I would be replacing him with Eric Clapton for this album. I think he would have complemented this very nicely with his guitar playing. Very clean, very controlled player, always bringing a great sound to the party. It's Eric Clapton for me. Dave, who do you got?
Okay, I have two.
Okay.
The Private Dancer solo, Jeff Beck solo is okay. It fits. It's mellow. I want to hear Mark Knopfler do the solo. Who wrote the song? I want to hear him play the solo. He would rip on it.
Now, Dave, they did play on the track. The members of Dire Straits
band, but I don't think he played on the track.
Okay, yeah, I know that. Like what? I think the drummer, bass player,
and the drummer. Yeah.
Okay.
From what I saw.
Gotcha. Ed?
Yeah, I was pretty much with you guys. I would remove Jeff Beck. I definitely would love to hear Mark Knopfler, but something saying like Robert Cray or Stevie Ray Vaughan, I think would add a nice bluesy touch to everything.
I think Stevie would be too hot for this album. That's just my opinion. Dave, I know I cut you off. What was your second one?
Oh, no, it's okay. I also would have liked to have heard the Rolling Stones on Steel Claw. You know, if they brought in like Mick to sing some background vocals and Keith and Ronnie to do the guitars on that, it would have killed.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's a great take right there, man.
Yes,
that
it
would
is.
be awesome.
Yeah, you want to talk about guys that play that style of lead guitar I was talking about, where these guys are playing, I mean, it's Stones I'm talking about. They're playing lead guitar with chords, like not single notes. And they're these like amazing chords that are almost forgotten now. And, you know, I go out of my way to try and learn as many of them as I can. And wow, man, it's just, there's something to be said for the way those guys play guitar. Just chef's kiss.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get some final thoughts on this album and some Watt scores. It's another one of those weeks we're talking through it. My Watt score might be a little high. I'm a fucking score whore. Okay. So this is a great album. It's performed and executed by exceptional studio musicians. Tina Turner brings her A game. There's really not much bad to say about the album. I mean, 1984 sucked. It wasn't good. Also, I Can't Stand the Rain was a very, very weak track, in my opinion. They overused the synth on a couple of tracks. It didn't really fit the album. The ceiling on the album was incredibly high, but the floor on the album was pretty low. So with that being said, fuck. I mean, it's Tina Turner. There's certain people you feel like almost obligated to give them this high score. I originally had 81, but I'm going to have to turn the knob down a little bit. I'm going to have to break one of the fucking tubes on the back of the Marshall. This is a 77.5 watt album, in my opinion. 77.5. Dave, what are your final thoughts on the album?
All right. The album sounds kind of dated. You know, it's of its time, the early 80s. However, Miss Tina Turner's instrument, her voice is always classic. That smooth, cold electronic feel of the music does provide a contrast to the raw warmth of her singing. You can argue the polished pop treatment gives much more dimension and potential album sales than if she had made, you know, just a straight up, you know, roots blues rock album. It's sophisticated, grown up, and it propelled her to success as a solo artist. My score is 72.
Oh, nice. I'm glad I came down a little bit. I would have felt like a loser if I had said 81. Ed, go ahead and give us your final thoughts on this and your Watt score.
I enjoyed the album more than I thought I would. But I think just the things that I didn't like on it were just too much that I really wouldn't put the whole album into my rotation, but I would definitely put a lot of these songs in the rotation of what I would normally listen to. And of course, whenever, you know, Better Be Good to Me comes on, What's Love Got to Do with It? I'll be the first to admit I'm in my car singing that as loud as I can, doing her no justice. But yeah, overall, I loved it. I enjoyed it. It's Tina Turner. Her voice is just magic, in my opinion. My overall score, though, was a 68.32. You
guys are making me want to change my score. Ed, I'm sorry, Dave, what was yours again?
72.
72. Okay. And 68.3. Okay. Fuck, man. I can't change my score now. I'm fucking tied to it. God damn it. Okay. So with my 77.5 watts, Dave's 72 watts, and Ed's 68.3 watts. Ed, will you please calculate those scores and tell us how many watts this album is putting out?
So Tina Turner's Private Dancer puts out a 72.6 watt score.
And Dave, where does 72.6 watts land Tina Turner's Private Dancer on the Breaking Vinyl charts?
That will make Private Dancer our new number 3 album. Just below Shout at the Devil at 80, and just above Velvet Revolver's Contraband with 61.94.
And where is Nothing Shocking on the charts right now?
It has moved down to number 5.
Oh, fuck. This is a fucking travesty. It's a travesty. I can't stand this. This is a fucking... And I'll tell you what. I'll tell you where Nothing Shocking is number 1 on our listener, because it is the absolute hands down most listened to podcast that we've done. And it's not just because it's the first one, because I mean, there's only a week between that and the next one. And it's almost tripled our next best one. I mean, for some reason, people love that podcast. Okay. And Dave, Dave, you do have next week's pick, right?
Nope, this was my pick. I believe Ed has the next pick.
Oh, that's right. What is wrong with me? Okay, it looks like I did not update the script there. Okay, Ed, as you have next week's album pick, will you please tell us and the listeners what album we will be discussing next time?
All right, next week's album is going to be Van Halen.
Oh, yeah.
The band that probably put out the best first 4 albums ever written.
Yeah.
Let's start with number 1.
Nice.
What's funny is another number 1 album that's great is that I feel is the best album from the band is Kiss. It's my favorite Kiss album, and eventually we'll be bringing it to the table. But I would like to say thank you, Ed, for next week's pick. And I know a lot of our listeners are probably thanking you too, because I'll be looking forward to listening to this record. Okay, so this week we are going to go to the mailbag. We did get a message from a listener this week. Mark wrote in regards to last week's review of Contraband, I agree with most everything you guys had to say, but if you listen to the last 3 songs in a row, you get the dramatic kick-ass finish of an action movie. Then the final song plays as the credits roll and you reflect, catch your breath, and file out of the theater. So I must disagree with the last song not belonging on the album, as I think it is a perfect ending. Keep up the good work, guys. So that was Mark's take on last week. He liked that last song. He thought that it fit and rounded out the album nicely, and I couldn't disagree more. So you guys have probably noticed I have deactivated my Facebook page, because you know what? I just don't care what all of you are eating for breakfast anymore. It's too much information for me. We weren't meant to know everything about everybody we ever knew. So I don't know if anybody else shared the podcast or shouted in. Did you guys notice?
I did not see anything this week.
Okay. Well, if we missed you, sorry. We do appreciate all you guys, but I do have a couple more shout outs. So Mark, we would like to thank you for your comment and thank you for listening to the show. I would also like to thank all the listeners and welcome our new listeners in Germany, Spain, and Chile. So to our new international listeners, thank you for joining the show, and keep tuning in. And if you'd like to contact us, I'll give you guys a shout out on the air, probably in English. Okay, so that's it. Ed, will you please tell our listeners where they can find us?
They can, excuse me. Oh, God. Sorry.
Find you on the side of a mountain.
I am. I'm in mountain time right now, so my hours are all screwed up.
Nice.
So yeah, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Breaking Vinyl Podcast, and you can find us on Twitter with B Vinyl Pod. So that's where you'll find us on those, and we'll post the links on each of those.
Awesome. All right. So until next time, take those records out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. That's one of my songs, you know, right? You guys have heard Let the Music Breathe.
Not yet.
No.
Not big fans? No. It's fucking great. No. Go to my YouTube channel and listen to Let the Music Breathe. Dave, seriously, go listen to Let the Music Breathe. You guys will be blown away by this song. It's fucking great.
Check it out.
Okay. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Adios.